Today is part one of Prince versus Elvis. Two icons enter, one will leave. Hey everybody, welcome to Prince's Friend, exploring music through Prince. I just want to jump on here real quick and say I am very excited about this video and I hope that you have a great time watching it. I did have to split it into two parts, so here's part one. And today we are doing a really cool collab that I'm doing here with PrinceElvisJackson88. If you don't know his channel, he does a bunch of music collection stuff. He's a really, really cool guy. But today what we're going to be doing is going over a cool versus video. It's going to be Prince versus Elvis. And I brought on Johnny because he is both a big Prince fan and a big Elvis fan. So say hi to everybody, Johnny, and tell us a little bit about yourself there.
Hey everybody, this is me, Johnny. I'm located in Atlanta, Georgia. My channel is mostly of my favorite artists in the title of my username, Prince, Elvis Presley, and Michael Jackson. I show a lot of my collection. I do seal reveals, unboxings, and reviews of certain albums. And I also, I'm gonna start showing other artists I enjoy too, and just do various topics.
Very cool. Like, you know, and I don't even collect vinyl or anything, but like watching your collection videos that you do makes me want to start collecting vinyl, even though I don't even have a record player. So it's one of those things, like, you do a good job, and I share your videos every so often. I'm sure anybody watching has seen me share a few of his videos here and there. And I want to preface this by saying that Johnny did send me a bunch of songs that I needed to listen to and make sure that I knew them so that we could debate and have a discussion about them. And he sent me a really great list of about 15 like have to listen to songs. And I was really surprised that I think I knew probably 11 of them. I think that I just like knew, you know. And then a few of the others were like, I know the name of the song and that he did it, but I didn't know the song. But it was really cool that you shared that with me and that you were willing to come on and do this collab. So thank you very much.
No, thank you. It's a great honor, man. I've been following your channel for a while. I love it. Good stuff.
Very cool, man.
You're doing a good job, you know, helping keep his legacy alive. I really do enjoy your channel, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So this is going to follow a similar format from, you're making me blush over here. It's going to follow a similar format to some of the other versus videos that we've done, where there's 9 criteria. We're going to go down the list and we're going to compare and see who gets the point. You know, by the end of this, we'll have a winner, either Prince or Elvis. Now, you and me were talking a little bit about it at the beginning, where we were like, it might be slightly skewed in one artist's direction more than the other, but we're going to get into the reasons why in our formal discussion here. So the first criteria is singing. Johnny, I'm going to let you start it off. Johnny, tell me your thoughts on both of their singing qualities and who you would give that point to.
I'll be honest with you, man. I would probably give it to Prince. This Prince is he's very versatile with his voice. I mean, he does he can do everything. He has a huge range to me. He can do crazy falsetto voices. He can do like a deep baritone voice. Like, it's just so crazy how much he can do. Elvis was more of I guess you would say a baritone voice. And it was said when he was younger, he really wanted to be a part of a quartet, like a gospel quartet. But then again, he has examples of a tenor voice, like in songs like It's Now or Never or Surrender. He just mostly has that deep voice. I don't know. But Prince, he just seems to be all over the place as far as like his range. He has a huge vocal range. So I think I would just give it to Prince. I really would.
Okay. Now see, and that's interesting because this was one of the, I'm not going to say one of the few, but the first one that I thought of that I was like, obviously this point has to go to Elvis.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. For me, like, just listening to the songs and like, you know, because I don't listen to Elvis generally, but the moment that an Elvis song comes on and you start listening to it, it's an iconic voice. You know that it's him. It's a strong voice as well. It's a powerful voice that he has. And honestly, like, like I said, with the collection of songs that you sent me, like he can do soft, he can do hard, he can do loud, he can do, emotional, and Prince can do all of that stuff too. But Prince, he was like so much of a chameleon that, unless he was doing his falsetto voice, like if he just came on the radio, you might go, oh, who's that? You know what I mean? Like some people, probably not me, I know all of the Prince songs, but somebody else might go like, oh, that guy sounds cool. Who's that? And you'd go, oh my God, that's Prince. He's like, oh my God, it sounds so different than the other thing that he did over here and all that stuff. That's Prince too. And like, that's an amazing thing. But I think it's also a really awesome thing to just be able to be like, from note one, bam, that's Elvis,
That's true.
So I would probably give the point to Elvis. You would give it to Prince. So they both get a point.
Sounds fair.
We can't agree, so they both get a point for singing. So no, but I think that's and that's interesting because I thought you were going to come out of the gate with Elvis on that one, but it ended up me having to fight for Elvis.
I'm trying to be polite. I'm on your channel,
No. That's what this is for. Like you know me. Like if you watch the channel, I don't care if you disagree with me.
Yeah.
I know. So second criteria is dancing. I'll start off on this one. I would probably give it to Prince, mostly because he does a whole lot of footwork. He does the jumping off of the banisters. He does choreography and dance, and he has dancers on stage that he has to sync up with. And, it's much more of like a giant show when it comes to the showmanship of dancing at a Prince show. I did go and see some footage of Elvis, and, his dancing at the time was like everybody knows the story. It's like super controversial.
His hips.
His hips are moving, his leg. But if you remove that, he didn't have a whole lot in his arsenal of dance moves. So I personally would give Prince the point. Your go, you tell me.
Wow, that's a good argument, man. Yeah, I mean, Elvis, he was probably the first to be controversial with his moves because, oh my God, he moved when music was playing, on TV and making the girls go crazy. But, I got to say, I think I agree with you too. I saw Prince in concert myself and, oh my gosh, amazing. Yeah. He was amazing movement. And by that time, he stopped doing all the crazy splits and everything he used to do. But it was very good. But I think when you see Elvis in concert, it's more of just like, oh my gosh, it's Elvis, like the star power and all that. But yeah, I would give this point to, I really don't have anything to defend on besides his wiggling hips. So I think I would give it to Prince. Because man, that guy, break it down.
Okay, so dancing, Prince gets the point. Awesome.
Fair.
The next thing we have is songwriting / musicianship. You tell me what your thoughts are on both of them and which one you pick.
Songwriting for Elvis. Elvis wasn't really a songwriter. He was more, during his lifetime, he was more of just a performer. He really honestly only has true credit to one song he recorded during his career. And it was actually only ended up being a B-side of a crappy soundtrack song. And it was called That's Someone You Never Forget. It was said to be about his mother. It came out in like 1966.
Oh, wow. So he didn't actually write any of his own songs for his whole career?
No, like you'll see songs like Heartbreak Hotel, Don't Be Cruel, all that. It has a co-write to Elvis. But the thing about his manager, he was a huge businessman. It was all about the money. And at that time when Elvis came out in the 50s, everybody wanted Elvis to do their songs. And he would say, okay, you want Elvis to do a song? Then you have to give up 50% of your rights to. He had two publishing companies, one called Hill and Range and the other one called Gladys Music, which was named after his mother.
Oh, wow.
So as far as songwriting, he really relied on other people's materials. The way he would do it, he would go in the studio, he'd have a stack of demos, and they would arrange them, and perform them right there. But he was like the producer for those, more like a producer. But he only really has one true credit to a song.
Oh,
But,
wow.
Yeah, and musicianship. As far as musicianship about Elvis, I would say he knows how to play the piano and the guitar. Really, I honestly I didn't know. Really, I thought when I first started listening to Elvis, I thought Elvis couldn't really play guitar, but you just see him going like this, just shaking around. But then when you watch the '68 comeback special, which I highly recommend, you can see his musicianship with the guitar. I was like, oh wow, he can play that good. And then by the '70s, when he returned to live performing, it was really more of a stage prop. But he was a great guitar player. And as far as piano, he never really showed it publicly. I feel like maybe he wasn't confident with that, but you're hearing a lot of rare home recordings of him playing.
Okay.
There's only a few pieces of footage that show him actually playing piano. Those are really the two instruments he knows how to play. And as far as Prince, that guy can write anything.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of when you lay out what Elvis did, it's like, oh well, then the point goes to Prince, because Prince could play all the instruments and wrote 1,000,000 songs and all kinds of stuff. So Prince, I would say the point gets to Prince. That sounded like that's obviously where you were going. Yeah. From what I also heard in one of my live streams, Elvis popped up and we started talking about Elvis, and somebody said that Prince used to make the revolution rehearse to rockabilly music. That is actually like, and Delirious is apparently Prince's,
I was just about to say that.
Prince's take on like a rockabilly song. Yeah. And you know what? Like before somebody on my channel said that, I never would have linked it. And then as soon as they said it, that's all I hear now. So it's like,
I always thought that. I'm like, you know, that sounds like if Elvis was in the '80s, maybe he would have done something like that. Maybe. Like, I get delirious.
But I think also a lot of the reason why Prince also wins the songwriting and musicianship, I think, is also because I've seen, I haven't listened to a ton of Elvis music, but I have watched a couple of the biopics and like all the, like I know about Elvis, even if I was never really like deep into him. And one of the things that I do remember from one of the biopics was that even if he had wanted to go crazy in the songwriting and musicianship, he was limited by Nashville. And he was limited by kind of where he began, because the way that it was portrayed, at least, was that, all right, man, like when he started off, like, this is how we make music in Nashville. And he's just like, well, I kind of want to do something different. Well, you can't. Otherwise we're not going to play you and we're not going to release your records because this is what people want. So, I mean, you tell me, like, this is just stuff I got from a biopic. You tell me if that's correct or not.
I would think it's correct as far as like limiting himself as far as his manager goes with that type of stuff. Not really with the music. He really kind of did what he always wanted to do, but it was, maybe we'll talk about it more when we come up with these other points with, maybe his manager will come up again. Because I was looking at these points. So I'll explain some more as we go.
Okay. Well, the next point is production and engineering. Okay, so I'm starting this one.
Yes, it's your turn.
All I'll talk about is Prince on this one. I actually don't know anything about any of the production and engineering that Elvis did. So I'm going to tell you what Prince did, and then you can fill me in on Elvis, and then we'll decide at the end. So essentially, Prince started off, obviously, getting his production. He produced himself from the very beginning. His production improved as he went along. Like it was always good, but it kept getting better and better. There was even a point where he like kind of just lived, like he would just go down to his basement and then he had like a whole production studio down there and he would just make songs. And then obviously in the 80s, he got Paisley Park. And then from that point on, everything sounded amazing at Paisley Park anytime he would record there. But he would also go around and he would record in different places. One of the things that Prince had always said was the key to longevity is to, master every piece of the music making process. So he could arrange, he could produce, he could engineer, he could do the sound, he could do everything. He could, he was all over the place. So like hands down, usually this point goes to Prince, but I actually, again, I don't know much about Elvis and his process. So I'm very interested to hear kind of his side of it. So, but tell me more about Elvis on the production engineering slate here.
Well, Elvis, he was really involved with his music. Like I said, when he would go into the studio, there would be a stack of demos for him. He would check them out and he would listen to them. And they would literally, which is taboo now, really, everyone live in the studio at one time, take after take.
Oh, wow.
And they would arrange it until, overdubbing got big around mid to late 60s, But he was very involved. Every time he looked at a song, he always like, okay, he was trying to think as the listener, okay, would I listen to this, or would I buy this, or when I see him in concert, would I want him to play this?
Right.
So he was very involved with it. If something sounded too loud, because I collect all his music. I hear the outtakes. You can tell he's very involved. It's like, oh, that was a tad too fast, or that was a tad too slow, or you need to be higher or lower, and all that. But he was very involved, I think, with the arranging. But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, sometimes I felt like with Prince, he would be like, okay, I don't want your input, this is my stuff.
He would totally do that.
Yeah. I think Elvis, he really encouraged ideas from the outside. I really do feel like he did. If someone had something, it's like, yeah, let's try that out. And if it works, use it. If not, I don't know. That's what he would say. I think he liked outside input. I think a little bit more than Prince, I would say.
So what are you thinking? I think I would probably still give this to Prince. And it's so hard to like do this in this particular way, but the strides in technology in terms of production and engineering, we kind of have to take that into account, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think Prince, on the whole, probably did better production and engineering, but he also had more tools at his disposal.
Oh, yeah.
So let's think of it that way. Like, could Elvis possibly get this point by being amazing with what he had to work with?
I think so.
You think so?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
I personally think it should be a tie, but that's just me.
You want to give another tie? I'm cool with a tie.
I think so.
I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt here because I don't know enough about Elvis's, process and stuff. And I also know, like, again, Prince got better and better and better, but also he was a computer nerd. So he was always like all over whatever the latest thing was. He was there, so he was always on the cutting edge because he had all these tools that he could use, whereas if we're talking about Elvis, and he's like, all right, everybody get into the room together and we have to overdub and we have to make sure that this thing works and stuff, and he, if he's trying like to really do this amazing production on a shoestring budget comparatively, you almost have to give them kudos. Kind of like those like indie movies that cost like $5,000 and then they make millions and you're like, oh my God, that's so great. Like this movie that cost millions also made millions, but you made millions off of nothing. Like that's amazing.
Of $5,000.
Exactly. So anyway, we'll give him the point because I think Prince technically would probably get the point just because again, he had so much more access to things, but Elvis gets a point as well. So, okay, cool. The next criteria is acting. And I actually went and I didn't watch entire Elvis movies, but I did go and watch a few of the Elvis movies, but this is actually your category to start. So tell me what you think of Elvis's acting versus Prince's acting.
I gotta say, I think Elvis was a great actor. I think it's a shame that he didn't do more serious roles than he usually got. He got like a lot of, boy meets girl, boy gets girl, and he sings a few songs, and then he maybe kick a guy's butt every now and then, in the movie. But he was a very good actor. There's good examples of his acting. And if you ever watch an Elvis movie, the one I recommend is Change of Habit.
Okay.
Great. I'm telling you, great movie. He was in 33 films.
Wow, really? That many?
Yeah, 31 was scripted. You know, like I said, they mostly had the same storyline, but they were. He had very good. I think it's a shame he didn't get more dramatic roles. Like the classic stories. He was supposed to be in A Star Is Born with Barbra Streisand. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He got offered Midnight Cowboy with Dustin Hoffman. I love old movies too, by the way. I love old movies. I'm like.
I think I've seen like 4 Elvis movies. Like I didn't know that it was 33 movies. Like that's ridiculous. That is a ridiculous number of movies. And how would you compare that then to Prince's acting?
It's hard to compare. I mean, I think it's a shame he didn't do more acting. He could have maybe grew as an actor. I mean, technically, when you think about it, as far as full blown acting, I can only think of like 3 things he did full acting in, three pieces. Purple Rain,
yeah, it was only 3. It was
and New Girl.
Well, it was. I guess technically, if we want to use that, it was Purple Rain, Under the Cherry Moon, Graffiti Bridge. Those were the main 3.
I don't know why I forgot about Under the Cherry Moon.
Yeah, well, that was the one where he actually acted in. The other 2, because this was always my thing with Prince, is that he wasn't necessarily a good actor, but he could emote like nobody's business. You know, so like he could just go like and you'd be like, oh, I know everything that he's thinking, you know.
The whole sad face still.
Exactly. He'd be like, I'm sad now. Exactly. And you'd be like, cool, I get it just from his face. But what would end up happening is, and this is obviously just my opinion, and I love his movies anyway, but Me too. Whenever he would be acting, it would sound like he was saying words that were written beforehand, and that he's, you know, so I would say he wasn't necessarily the best actor, whether or not I love the movies. So I also would give this point to Elvis, and especially now that I know that he was in 33 movies. I'm telling you. That just blew my mind there.
Yeah, Change of Habit. I would say Change of Habit and Wild in the Country. And King Creole. Those are good examples of his acting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I've only seen. So let me see. I saw the one where he was on the beach doing the. I don't remember.
Blue Hawaii.
Yes, Blue Hawaii. Yes, I saw Blue Hawaii, and I saw the one where he was the army man.
Oh, GI Blues. That's a good one too.
GI Blues. So those are the 2 that I watched recently to prepare for this video. But I didn't watch the whole movies. I just watched like scenes because I just wanted to be like, let me get a feel for his acting style. And honestly, he was a good actor. Like he came in, he delivered his lines well. I didn't think that he was just, you know, a Ken doll there just to sing, even though I feel like that's what the makers of the movie wanted him to be.
I think originally, yes, especially when his first movie came out in 1956, Love Me Tender, you know. It's Elvis, the biggest star, you know, in the scene then. And they just wanted the heartthrob on the screen, you know?
Exactly.
Probably for the most part. But I mean, if you watch his first movie to his last scripted movie, definitely he grew as an actor. Definitely.
All right.
Big time.
Very cool. So point to Elvis then. All right. That's his first one he's got. That's his first one he's got.
We got to catch up.
All right. That was part 1 of Prince versus Elvis. Tune in tomorrow for part 2. An amazing time will be had by all. Don't forget to follow us on social media at PrincessFriendYT, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also check out our Patreon at patreon.com/PrincessFriend. May you live to see the dawn.